American Natividad at the Art Gallery of Ontario. Behind me, a slew of arcade games from the 80s. Not something you usually see at a leading art institution, but this is all part of AGO All Hours, where the focus this time around is gaming as art.
We were really thinking about what would work for a broad audience, and the idea of just vintage arcades and Pac-Man and Frogger and Tetris, things we played, came up, and the fact that kids could enjoy it as much as adults with a beer or a glass of wine. So the whole thing kind of grew out of the idea of recreating a vintage arcade.
The gallery has been pushing extra hard to bring a younger generation into the fold, also recently introducing free admission for those under 25. Saltzman says for the gallery it's less about boosting attendance numbers and more about, well, powering up a whole new audience.
Going free under 25 just gives so many more people access to art. So today we've commissioned over 20 emerging artists to do projects, including our live Pac-Man. And so the annual pass and this type of programming is really just about broadening the audience and opening the doors.
This is Paku Paku. It is a sort of a live video game inspired by Pac-Man, but as you can see, it's played in real life. As a game designer and also an art lover, there's a real validation to being able to do something like this at the AGO. A lot of times games aren't really embraced by the art world.
Sort of broadening the perception of games not just about entertainment, but also as capable as any other art form is capable of. We would love to continue working with the art gallery to maybe curate games that complement the work that other artists are bringing in from other disciplines, or even just having like a solo exhibit of game artists would be amazing. But this is a great first step.
Coming up, we'll chat with some of the museum goers today, and we'll get a closer look at some of these vintage games. A busy day at the Art Gallery of Ontario today for AGO All Hours. It's a block party style event when the museum comes alive with interactive exhibits and activities. Today the focus was on gaming as art, with vintage arcade games, out-of-the-box indie games, and a true crowd pleaser, real-life Pac-Man on display.
Well, I'm actually a game developer, so I'm interested in seeing how games function in the art gallery setting. So it's really interesting seeing all this here. I think it's really important for games as a whole to be taken more seriously as an art form, because I think that's a direction that new media art is heading.
These are sort of throwback arcade games. Are these sort of triggering any memories for you?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them are a little before my time, but I've played a few of them.
How does it make you feel seeing these old games?
It's a little nostalgic. It's kind of nice. It reminds me of when there were arcades all over the city. You don't see many of them now, so.
Any game in particular you're looking forward to playing?
Not really. Just going to try a little bit of everything.
We heard that there's this video game exhibit, and we wanted to check it out.
Yeah. Have you been to the art gallery before?
No, first time actually. I've played a bit of Mario as a kid and all of those old games, so seeing them here, I've actually never tried these machines. Yeah. I've only played them on my TV at home, so it's really good to see them here.
So we just saw you play a game. How did it go for you?
It was fun. It was fun. I felt like I was, back in the 80s, 90s with those old school arcades with the coins and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's nice that you can do as many tries as you want here.
There's a lot of visual design, a lot of conceptual themes and important messages that can be told through that medium, and I think if it's taken more seriously and seen in an art gallery context, then that'll bring a lot more people.
Now, if you weren't able to make it out for AGO All Hours this time around, the next event will be in January, and the focus will fittingly be hibernation and deep winter. At the Art Gallery of Ontario, Erica Natividad, City News.